Okay, so get this. Imagine a world where plants aren't the only things pumping out oxygen.
Wow. Yeah.
Sounds kind of wild, right?
Definitely.
Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. Remember that inverse article you sent me?
Uh-huh.
Researchers find oxygen made without photosynthesis with mind-blowing consequences.
Hmm.
And let me tell you, the title does not disappoint. These scientists were down in the deep sea studying oxygen levels in these sediments where it's totally pitch black.
Right. No sunlight at all.
Exactly. So you wouldn't expect much oxygen action down there. But get this, they found that the oxygen levels were actually going up.
Yeah, it's a total game changer. I mean, everything we thought we knew about oxygen production.
Totally. It's like, how is that even possible?
Well, the secret lies in these weird metallic things called polymetallic nodules. They're scattered all over the seafloor. Think of them like lumps of metal packed with stuff like manganese, iron, nickel, the whole shebang.
Okay, so just chunks of metal hanging out on the ocean floor. What's so special about that?
The crazy part is they can actually conduct electricity.
Hold on, you're telling me these rocks are like electric?
Yep, seriously. You can think of them like natural batteries powering a process called electrolysis. So they use this electric charge to split water molecules, good old H2O, into hydrogen and
This
oxygen.
is like a natural chemical factory down there making oxygen in the dark.
Pretty much.
That is wild. Okay, so these electric rocks are making oxygen down in the deep, but the article also mentioned something about deep sea mining and how that ties into all this. What's the connection there?
Well, the research you shared was actually funded by a mining company. And it makes sense when you think about it. The discovery was made in this area called the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, a huge part of the Pacific Ocean that's absolutely loaded with these polymetallic nodules. And guess what else is packed into those nodules?
What?
Valuable metals like lithium and cobalt, which are essential for all our tech gadgets, electric cars, you name it.
Uh-huh, so that's where the mining companies come in. They're after those precious metals. But what does that mean for this whole oxygen-making thing if they start scooping up all those nodules?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's where things get a bit tricky. On one hand, we've got this potential gold mine of resources we need. On the other hand, messing with these nodules could seriously disrupt the oxygen production we're just starting to understand, not to mention the potential damage to those delicate deep-sea ecosystems.
Right? We can't forget about the creatures that call the deep sea home.
Exactly. It's a delicate balancing act between meeting our resource needs and protecting the environment. And remember, we're still just scratching the surface when it comes to understanding the deep sea.
There's so much we don't know.
It's home to all these unique life forms that have adapted to this extreme environment over millions of years. And we're still figuring out how it all works.
Okay, so we've got this mind-blowing discovery of oxygen being made without sunlight, powered by these electric rocks on the seafloor. It's just incredible. But here's a thought. What if this dark oxygen has been around for like a really long time? Could it have actually played a role in the whole evolution of life on Earth?
Now, that's where things get really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We know that complex life, like us, humans, animals, even plants, needs oxygen to survive.
Right, we got to breathe.
Exactly. And up until now, we've pretty much thought of photosynthesis as the main way oxygen gets made, plants using sunlight and all that.
Makes sense.
But now we've got this new discovery suggesting there might be other ways to make oxygen, even way back in Earth's early history, before plants were even a thing.
So you're saying this dark oxygen could have helped life get started even before photosynthesis was around. That's wild.
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, we still don't have all the answers about how life first popped up on our planet. This just adds another piece to that puzzle.
Another clue to the whole mystery. Okay, so if it happened here on Earth, could something like this dark oxygen thing be going on in other places too? Like on other planets or moons? The article mentioned that.
It's a pretty mind-blowing thought, right? We tend to think of life needing sunlight like it's a must-have. But what if that's not always the case? What if there are other ways for life to exist out there? Maybe using processes like this dark oxygen production totally independent of sunlight.
You're saying there could be like alien life out there breathing this dark oxygen deep down in some alien ocean.
Well, it's not impossible. Think about it. We know some moons in our solar system have huge oceans under their icy shells, like Europa and Enceladus.
Yeah.
What if those oceans are full of life using processes like this dark oxygen thing?
Whoa, that's some next level stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's bring it back down to Earth for a sec. We were talking about those deep sea mining concerns. What are the actual risks if we start digging up these nodules on a massive scale?
Well, the deep sea is a pretty fragile place. These ecosystems down there have evolved over millions of years in total darkness. And those polymetallic nodules, they're not just random rocks, they're part of that whole ecosystem.
So messing with them could have some serious consequences.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about potentially disrupting the food web, screwing up habitats, even messing with this oxygen production we're just now figuring out. Plus, there's the risk of stirring up huge clouds of sediment during the mining, which could smother all sorts of creatures down there. It's a delicate balance.
It sounds like we need to tread carefully and weigh the potential benefits against the risks.
Exactly. We still have a lot to learn about these deep sea environments. We need to approach this with a long-term perspective, not just rush in without thinking about the consequences.
So we've got this incredible opportunity for resources and scientific discovery, but also this responsibility to protect these unique ecosystems. It's a tough situation.
It's a classic dilemma, right? Trying to find that balance between progress and preservation. It's crucial for a sustainable future.
So for our listeners, what's the biggest takeaway from this whole dark oxygen conversation?
I think the biggest thing is realizing our planet is full of surprises. We think we know how things work, and then bam, a discovery like this comes along and shakes everything up. It reminds us to stay curious, keep asking questions, and always keep an open mind. There's still so much out there waiting to be discovered.
And it shows that even in the darkest corners of our planet, life finds a way. And who knows, maybe we'll find evidence of these dark ecosystems on other worlds too.
It's definitely food for thought. It highlights how resilient and adaptable life can be.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, here's something for you, the listener, to ponder. If dark oxygen can exist in our oceans, could similar processes be happening elsewhere in the universe? Could there be entire ecosystems thriving in the darkness, powered by things we haven't even imagined yet?
Now, that's a question that really gets you thinking. The universe is a vast and mysterious place with endless possibilities.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll explore what this discovery means for deep-sea mining and the search for life beyond Earth. Stay tuned. Okay, so we've explored this incredible dark oxygen phenomenon happening deep down in the ocean. We've talked about what mining those polymetallic nodules could mean, and even touched on the possibility of similar processes happening on other worlds and fueling life. So where do we go from here? What's the next step?
That's the million-dollar question, right? I mean, this discovery opens up a whole new world of possibilities for research and exploration, but it also forces us to make some tough decisions.
Like how we handle deep-sea mining, right?
Exactly. There's huge potential for extracting valuable resources from these nodules, but like we talked about, we have to consider what that means for these deep-sea ecosystems.
It's a tricky situation for sure.
It's a balancing act, trying to figure out how to meet our needs without causing irreparable harm to the environment. And the thing is, we're only just beginning to scratch the surface when it comes to understanding the deep sea.
Right, there's still so much we don't know.
Exactly. We need to know more about these ecosystems, how they function, how they'll respond to change.
So more research is key.
Absolutely. This discovery is just the beginning. We need to dig deeper, literally and figuratively.
And while that research is going on, what about the mining itself? Should there be some kind of pause, a moratorium, until we have a better grasp of what's at stake?
That's a debate that's heating up right now. Some folks say we need to be extremely cautious, put strict regulations in place to minimize the impact. Others think we should hit the pause button completely on mining, at least until we know more.
I can see both sides of that. We don't want to stifle progress, but we also don't want to end up doing irreversible damage to these unique environments.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between progress and preservation. It's about making smart choices for a sustainable future.
And it's not just about science either, right? There are economic considerations, social implications too. Mining those nodules could create jobs, provide valuable resources. But we have to make sure those benefits are shared fairly. And we need to listen to the communities that might be affected.
You're absolutely right. It's a societal issue, not just a scientific one. We need open and honest discussions, transparency, and a willingness to work together to find solutions.
So this whole dark oxygen thing has really opened up a can of worms in a way. We've got all these questions to grapple with, all these challenges ahead, but there's also this sense of awe, this feeling of possibility. I mean, we've uncovered something that challenges what we thought we knew about life itself. It opens up new paths for exploration here on Earth and maybe even beyond.
Absolutely. It reminds us that we're still just at the beginning of understanding our planet and the universe as a whole. And it underscores the importance of scientific curiosity, critical thinking, and a deep respect for life in all its forms.
It's a reminder that we're all connected, that the choices we make today ripple out into the future. So as we wrap up this deep dive into dark oxygen, here's something to think about. We've discussed how it could support life on other planets, but what if this discovery inspires us to create a better future right here on Earth? What if it leads to new innovations, cleaner energy, smarter ways to manage our resources?
That's a beautiful thought. This discovery might not just be about what's hidden deep in the ocean, but about what's inside us, too. Our capacity for creativity, our ability to collaborate, and our deep connection to the natural world.
Maybe, just maybe, it's a sign that even in the darkest places, there's hope for a brighter future. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the mysteries of the universe.